Thank you, Chairwoman Klobuchar. It's good to work with you on the issues we do on the daily activities of the Senate, but also to work on this bill and for holding the markup today. I'm glad our colleagues are here. I think even more of our colleagues will attend, understanding that this is one of the more important things we're likely to address this year. It's already have had, since January the 6th, really a lengthy discussion that now has lasted almost 2 years about the Electoral Count Act of 1887. That's governed Congress's electoral counting process for 135 years, but as we found out last year, it's vague, outdated, and needed reform. There's been broad support on both sides of the aisle to update the act, to clarify the language and address the ambiguities in the act. There's also been broad agreement that any changes to the process by which Congress counts electoral votes should be bipartisan. For the better part of the past year, as you pointed out, a bipartisan group of senators led by Senator Collins and Senator Manchin have worked to craft the Electoral Count Reform and Presidential Transition Improvement Act. They talked to many election experts and legal scholars and engaged in robust debate of how the Electoral Count Act should be reformed. The result of their work is a bill that's already received significant support from senators of both sides of the aisle. I want to applaud that group for their efforts, and as you mentioned, two of our committee members, Senator Capito and Senator Warner, were really involved in that conversation. You and I were supportive of letting that bipartisan group do its work. They negotiated this bipartisan bill. That type of deliberation and debate and compromise is exactly how the Senate is supposed to work. With any compromise, no one's likely to be completely happy with the final result, but this bill addresses and fixes the major flaws of the Electoral Count Act. It clarifies the role of the Vice President and Congress during the electoral count itself. It raises the threshold required to levy an objection and ensures a single senator and single representative may not dispute the counting process or disrupt the counting process. It replaces the undefined and controversial failed election clause and ensures states can't overturn the results of an election. It provides for an expedited federal court process to ensure state issues certifications after the election has been certified in their state. In August, the Rules Committee held what I thought was a very productive hearing to discuss the reform process and ask questions about the bill. Since then, Chairwoman Klobuchar and I have worked with Senator Collins and Manchin, as well as the rest of the bipartisan group, to draft a manager's amendment to address some issues raised at the hearing, and they further strengthened the bill. We were able to do this in relatively short order thanks to the working group's hard work and the dedication that they had in drafting the bill to start with. We also had an opportunity to review the work passed by the House last week and think that the amendments that we were working on are sometimes reflective of some differences in the House bill and this bill. I'm hopeful that this markup will move the bill forward in the same constructive bipartisan spirit that's been drafted in. I look forward to the conversation today and sending this bill to the full Senate.
Thank you. We've been joined by Senator McConnell. Please give us some words.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm pleased that we are where we are today. We are here to consider legislation that is necessarily detailed and complex, but the reason we're here is pretty simple. After 150 years, the Electoral Count Act needs some modest updates. Those of us on the committee know it. I believe that all our